Your deck was a problem. It needed to be dealt with.
I'm Sean from Complete Magic, and we're doing a deep deck dive on Post Malone's Keurig, Son of Yawgmoth. Post Malone is a singer, rapper, songwriter, and record producer, and he's also an avid Magic the Gathering enthusiast who's spent more than $3 million, mostly in 2 cards, on his vast collection. Today we're going to dive into one of his decks, the Keurig deck. This is one of Post's favorite decks and was selected for the Secret Lair, that collaboration between Magic the Gathering and Post himself. And for Post's personal deck, he built it so it's a Storm CEDH viable deck. So there's plenty of power here, and we're going to break it down card by card. This strategy starts with Reanimator using Entomb cards, where we're going to find and tutor specific cards that we can use for their recursion later. And we'll take cards using Buried Alive, Entomb, Final Parting, and Vile Entomber so that we can get started. Once we have the cards we need stuffed into our graveyard, we're going to reanimate them back. Now there's a ton of reanimate cards. We have 8 of them here in Post deck, but Chainer and Necrotic Ooze really stand out here. Chainer being a combo piece and Necrotic Ooze just being a complete toolbox in a card. Now, it won't happen often, but if Post has something slip into his graveyard that he doesn't want there, there's a few cards that can recur them back to his hand, including Zihao Dun, the One-Eyed, and Yawgmoth's Will. But those are just insurance, because Post deck has many different combo lines and ways to hit a win con. Now, the main win con itself is Gary, or Grey Merchant of Asphodel. And as you can see, with the sack outlet and a way to reanimate Gary, he's going to do a ton of damage and get us back all the life that we've spent as a resource. Speaking of resources, next we're on to Rampant Rocks. We're going to need to do everything fast because this deck is competitive and it wants to win the game. That's why it's chocked full of 10 rocks that Post spares no expense on, even with this foil Grim Monolith. And then he also has a few rituals in here that'll help him really pump out some mana early on. But fast mana isn't done yet. We still have Blood Celebrant, Blood Pet, and Scourge Familiar. The first and the last are both combo pieces, and Blood Pet is just a great way to bank some mana early and use it later. Now that we have everything set up in the deck for Post, we're going to need to draw a ton and set up the actual combo, with Vilis, Broker of Blood being the main line. While 3 other cards on this page are combo pieces, but Vilis is the main one that you want to take and stuff into the graveyard with Post deck. And he can do this by using tons of tutors. And Posty slams 13 tutors into this deck, which is more than worth it because it's a combo deck. You need to find your pieces. And he also has some Transmute and Transfigure in here, which is pretty cool. And the Transfigure Flesh Writher is definitely going to go try to find a Necrotic Ooze. But besides combo pieces and interaction, Post can also go find some utility cards that'll let him dirtle or just prevent him from dying as he combos off. And he doesn't sleep on interaction either. He still has 6 removal pieces, and even though he's basically playing combo solitaire over here and just trying to cram his combo out as quickly as possible. And in order to do that, he's also going to need some protection. So he has lots of cards in here to protect himself from being disrupted or having anything go on that he doesn't want to while he's actually pulling the combo off. And if you're playing Post and you see him drop a defense grid, you know it's about to go down. But besides those, Post also has a handful of discard just to pave the way for his combo, including a Thoughtseize, Collective Brutality, and Chain of Smog. Now, when we talk about monocolored land bases, sometimes it can get a little boring, but Post Malone bars none when it comes to a monocolored land base. He has all the best cards in here and the best versions of all these cards. So everything from Ancient Tomb to Shrine to Nyx, Urza's Saga, just huge bombs in here. And he goes on to play fetch lands in here so he can filter his deck even more. I love fetch lands, filtering decks, even in monocolored strategies. And he has great fetches. He rounds out the lands with 15 swamps for a total of 30 lands to complete his deck. But that doesn't mean that there isn't room for improvement. And that's why everybody should subscribe to Complete Magic. We're going to keep on looking at more people's decks, breaking them down and giving our suggestions. And to start off with the spiciest card in Post Malone's Keurig deck, I vote that it's Praetor's Grasp. Most of the combo lines in this deck yourself, so if you use Praetor's Grass to go grab your buddy's Thassa's Oracle and win the game with it, that's going to be a pretty spicy way to win. Anyways, Evan's pick for spiciest card in the deck is Necrotic Ooze. This thing lets you reanimate without actually reanimating, letting you do a ton of stuff with anything in your graveyard. It is a spicy card. As far as cuts go, I'm going to point out the obvious. This guy's just in here because Posty loves horsemanship and it's a straight up meme. But it is the weakest card in the deck, so I would take it out. Evan's take, Dimir Machinations needs to go. It's the weakest tutor, and we can definitely find the transmute that works better. The body of the card itself isn't that great, so it has to go. So Evan just took out a transmute, so let's add one back in. Dimir House Guard is a sack outlet, making it a combo piece. It's the perfect card for this deck, and it needs to be added in. And Evan's pick, of course, is Shouldered the Apocalypse. This thing, even though it costs a lot of money, is almost an auto-include in any Keurig deck now. This thing can help you get back the life that you need to use as a resource, and it can punish your opponents quickly. And that, my friends, is Post Malone's Keurig Son of Yawgmoth deck. Thanks for sticking around. Go pick up Post's new album, Austin, which dropped about a month ago, and we'll see you around next time.